Imagine waking up.
This is just a dream.
Woody, are you up yet?
What the hell have you done to me?
This cannot happen. I don't want to be a boy, okay?
Try not to attract any unnecessary attention.
As the opposite sex.
Today, we are going to recap a movie named It's a Boy-Girl Thing. Before starting, I would like to request all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to get notified. Let's begin. This is the story of Nell, the typical good girl who is not like the others, since she loves to read and study and all those things, and Woody, who is the popular athlete of the school, has no future. They've always been enemies, and unfortunately, they're window neighbors, so he keeps bothering her with loud music when she tries to study, and on top of that, when she tries to get him to let her read in peace. She only ends up involved in an accident and shirtless. The next morning, we see that their families are exactly like them. While Nell's family is helping her go to one of the best colleges, Woody's parents are proud of their son because he's one of the few in the family who went to high school, and they don't care if he wants to go to college or just help out in the family store. Anyway, despite being a model student, she doesn't have many friends. That's why when she misses the school bus, no one stops to help her, and on top of that, her neighbor doesn't help her much either. In fact, he is one of those who bothers her and doesn't even doubt for a second to make her life impossible, driving his friend's car through a puddle to soak her. When she finally arrives at school, some of her classmates make fun of her appearance, and then she decides to confront Woody, but she doesn't really care much since she's more focused on her studies and having a good future. Unlike him, whose only achievement in life will be to have been captain of the team during his teenage years. Anyway, Woody doesn't care about all this, and he doesn't stop bothering her every time he can. And in the middle of class, he Googles an adult page on Nell's computer. But the interesting thing happens when his class goes on a field trip to a museum of Mexican culture, where they have to do an activity in pairs. And in order for Woody to pay attention, they force him to beat with Nell. Although, as always, they end up fighting. Unfortunately for them, they do it right in front of an ancient statue, which minutes before their teacher had told them was a kind of god of magic for the indigenous people. That same night when they were sleeping, they seem to have a kind of nightmare, and when they wake up, they realize that something is wrong as they don't feel like themselves. So they begin to touch their bodies to check that they do indeed have things that they didn't have before, and to confirm this, they look in a mirror to realize that now their bodies are switched. From then on, they have to face all the difficulties of being the opposite gender, such as having a friend who was awake very early in the morning, or having to lead a completely different lifestyle. Since while Woody eats pounds and pounds of meat for breakfast, Nell eats only oatmeal. As soon as she gets to school, they meet to talk, and Nell feels very bad about what she's going through and wants to start crying, but Woody calms her down so she doesn't make him look bad in front of everyone. He tells her that it's probably just a one-day thing, and that tomorrow everything will probably be back to normal. They go about their day with complete normalcy, even though Nell has to deal with Woody's girlfriend named Brianna, and on top of that, she has to deal with going to the men's room. The problem happens when the next day it turns out that the magic didn't end, and from this, they start arguing again, and with that they start a war to ruin each other's lives, like turning Nell into an easy girl and taking advantage of the fact that he can enter the girls' toilet. For her part, she ruins Woody's reputation by making him look like a loser, and even ends up with his perfect girlfriend. But it all comes to a limit when his revenge goes with a guy, so she can have her first time with a random guy, which makes Nell very upset because she had always been saving that moment for a person she really loves. What she doesn't know is that Woody actually regretted and ran away before anything happened, but the guy was resentful and soon spread false rumors all over the school about how he did it with her. It's okay anyway, because Woody isn't going to let him tell lies about them, so he goes straight to asking him to admit that all the rumors are lies or else he'll beat him up. Woody tries to hit him, but doesn't count on the fact that he no longer has his physical strength because he has changed his body. That's when Nell arrives and gives him a few good punches and forces him to tell the whole truth. So after teaching that guy a lesson, they start to reconcile, although there is still the detail that he doesn't forgive her for ending his relationship with Brianna. Although now the most important thing is to fix the whole body swapping thing. As they talk, they realize that it all started when they were in the museum in front of the statue of the god of magic, and they can't think of anything better than to go to him again and ask him nicely to give them back their normal lives, trying to convince him that they are good friends and they don't deserve this. They count to 3 in the hope that something will change, but in the end, it's no use. So they end up eating pizza to plan how they're going to move on with their lives, especially since they both have very important events. On the one hand, Woody has a football game that will define if he is going to enter college or if he's going to dedicate the rest of his life to work in his father's pathetic store, and Nell has an interview that will determine whether she will go to one of the best universities in the country. However, this is easily solved when he realizes that since his body hasn't changed, meaning that she still has his strength, all they have to do is train a bit for the match, while Nell is going to help him study to pass the interview. Anyway, this doesn't matter much for now, as Woody approaches one of his friend's girlfriends, but apparently he's cheating on her, and as Woody tries to make her calm down, she invites him to a girls' night out. There, in addition to taking advantage of the view, he also learns that in reality his ex-girlfriend never loved him, but was with him because he's the captain of the team, and this gave her a good reputation. But worst of all, she ends up being subjected to a kind of torture. On top of all this, Nell was at a boys' party and ended up getting drunk, but that's no excuse for our protagonist to get together the next day. So Nell can continue practicing for the game and Woody can finish getting ready for the interview. They also decide that it would be a good idea to go to the dance together, since it would be weird if they go with other people, and even though they say it's not going to be a date, we all know it will be that same night at dinner. They both chat with their families, and Nell learns that their parents were friends, but because of her mother they had to separate, since she didn't want her family to hang out with lowly people. The most important thing is that she begins to understand Woody's family more, and she can see that they are really very kind, and that they really care about their son. But on the other hand, Woody discovers that Nell's family, and even she herself, thinks his whole family is stupid, and that's why he goes to the school field to get even and play some football. Nell had just gone to look for him, because they had to continue studying, but when she found out that he left, she didn't hesitate to go look for him. Woody tells her that he's tired of everything, because he knows what she thinks of him, but he can't change the fact that the only thing he's doing well at is football, and on top of that, he's going to miss the most important game of his life just to go to an interview for a college he's never going to go to. When Nell hears all this, she doesn't know how to respond, because even though she's changed her mind during all this time, she knows that there are many things he's right about, and even though they part ways, they still respect their side of the deal and both go to their respective events. First comes Woody's turn, who is nervous but also confident that she really deserves a place in that university, but everything starts to get complicated when the questions are totally different from what he had practiced. Everything is decided in the last seconds of the game, and just when everything seems lost, she manages to score the last points that crown them as the winners, so they give her an invitation to a university, and when they finally meet again, they congratulate each other for having managed to overcome the obstacles as they had promised. But then magic happens and their bodies return to normal. While this is good news, it also causes them to end up drifting apart as they have to return to their normal lives, and when the team goes to find Woody to continue celebrating their victory, they end up separating, realizing that they now have no more reason to stay together. Nell follows him anyway, but then Woody's ex-girlfriend appears and suddenly kisses him. That's why she prefers to leave, and even though he tries to follow her to explain what happened, it's too late and he can't find her. Days go by and they don't communicate again, since Nell decided that she would never see him again, even though they promised to go to the dance together. He realizes that she's avoiding him and tries to go to her house so he can apologize, but Nell doesn't want to hear from him anymore, and on top of that, her mother doesn't want her to hang out with a boy with no future. At the same time, there is also a parallel plot with Woody's friend and his girlfriend, where she discovers that he was really cheating on her and decides to take revenge on him by making him believe that they're finally going to do it, although it's only a trick to leave him naked and take his car to get to the dance alone. Now yes, Nell arrives right after they announce the king and queen of the dance, who are obviously Woody and Brianna. But then, when they are about to dance, he sees Nell and leaves his date so he can be with the girl he really likes. Anyway, he can not only apologize, but thank him for teaching him a lot of things during all the time they were swapped. But the most important thing of all is that they finally kiss and declare their love for each other to end up running away from the dance. After that, and despite getting into one of the best colleges, Nell decides to have a gap year to go on a trip with her new boyfriend, and although her mother tries to stop them, nothing can make her change her mind. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. See you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.